Hi, good afternoon. I'm Gladys. I'm one of the senior counselors with Tsao Foundation. Thank you, the organizer, CPF, for having me here. Thank you, the online audience, for sharing and sacrificing this precious 1 hour to be here to listen to this sharing. Yeah. Before I start, I'm very, very curious. As a counselor, we're always curious about what our clients are interested about. And so I'm interested. And I need your help to do a little poll of why you are here today to attend the talk. So there's a little poll coming out on the screen. I need you to fill in the answers. And some of you might be thinking, why am I here? I need to go for lunch. Yeah. And perhaps some of you are thinking, I'm here because I want to be empowered. I want to be motivated. I'm not so sure about the challenges. I want to deal with it. And also, maybe most importantly, to deal with the changes that comes along with it. And then you're curious, what are my resources? And how I can apply my resources? Yeah? So do you have this question about your own mental health? Maybe we'll just take a second and we'll let people, the online audience. Okay, so we have some coming up. You want to be empowered. You want to learn to improve. You want motivated. Oh, curious. Okay, that's good. Knowledge. You want to take charge. You want to feel fulfilled. Okay, good. You're on the right page. Okay. So, you might be thinking, I want to take charge, Maybe I want to have a life partner, Or maybe I want to find a new job. But, I'm a nervous wreck. I think too much. I'm very nervous. I worry too much, Well, I'm not very far from everybody else, According to World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities. So you know what you can do, right? And cope with normal stressors. I'm sure you can cope with normal stressors of life. That's why you are here, right? You have a job or you hope to take a job. But most importantly, you want to be productive and you want not only for yourself, but to be a contributing member of society, right? But there lies the problem. We are too nervous, sometimes. And MOH, Ministry of Health, did a survey last year, population health survey, which tracked the health and the risk factors of Singaporeans. And they discovered one thing, that the statistics have shown that there was an increase in poor mental health. And what is this poor mental health? In my colleagues, whether it's in Tsao Foundation or in the hospital settings or the community workers, and we have found working with people that all of us have these resources, this mind, body, and spirit. You own it, and you can make good use of it in our interaction with the elderlies. You are in charge. Of course, I don't mean the external world or the events or things happening in your life. Maybe that one you can't take charge. But you all have the resources. I have the resources to deal with all challenges that come along. But the problem is people cannot see that. They feel lost, they feel helpless because they cannot see that they have this resource. And when they feel things are out of control, things are happening to my senses, I feel nervous, this heart is palpitating, I feel angry, I feel disappointed with people. Oh, I cannot control. Then that's when people start to panic. We all have these resources. Trust you me, we all have these resources. But how can we work these resources to our advantages? So we need to set the intention, okay? So this is a very important word. To set the intention and to be mindful. I can develop these resources and make it more powerful, okay? So here we're going to introduce the three, okay. We're going to introduce the ABCs of empowering yourself. ABC, Gladys, is it too simple? We need to give you a framework. So bear with me, come along in this journey. Okay? A is the freedom to ask. Okay? To open your mind to more worldviews, to new information. B is the power of the breath. The breath is something, you know, it's like your car. You have a car and you want to drive the car. So you need a brake. The breath is a tool. And using your breath, you can modulate your heart rate and go at a steady speed. And when you get the hang of it, then the breath is something very powerful. It is your turning wheel. It will guide you and allow you, empower you to give you the direction in which you want to go. The C is intimacy. You know a lot of things. You are in control of yourself now, but you know what? We need to build a relationship with ourselves. If there is a part of you that you're running away from and you're not looking, you're running away from some of the parts that you don't like about yourself, well, you first need to build a relationship to be intimate with yourself, right? And with that, we start to build relationships with the people around us, okay? So that is intimacy. Stay with me, bear with me. I need to show you a framework first. Yeah, and the last quadrant, D. Okay, get ready your pens. Okay, maybe not pen, your handphone now. And think, the last quadrant is for you. If there is a mindset change, if the picture of where you are going shifts, I want you to write it down. I want you to write 3 things that you're going to learn from this session. And maybe it syncs with you, it fits you on the inside. That is your distinction quadrant. And you put it down. 3 main points that you will carry from today onwards into the future. Okay? So the question is freedom to ask. Freedom to ask what? We all have this mind, body, and spirit, right? What's this body business? Or when I talk about the body, you think, body, hand, leg, heart, liver, kidney, brain, you know. We think as the body, as this that house this thing called me and mine, right? Think of nutrition, right? But research have shown over the years, and our understanding of body has actually been improved. So maybe you think, oh, I'm not feeling well. I eat a lot. You know, I should eat better. And then you eat. But research has shown, you know, there's this serotonin, the happy hormones that is produced in our brain that makes us happy, that makes us alert. You know, this serotonin happy hormone is found, 90% is found in our gut and in our blood pellets. So you see, we might have to keep updated with new information, but that's the medical aspect. I'm not here for the medical aspect. You know, I'm here, if you say, oh, Gladys, you say, you know, I learned, I'm going to attend more talks on understanding my body. I'm still not feeling happy. I feel unpowered yet. I've been popping pills, vitamins, and I feel, you know, less ready to get out of bed with all that vitamins, you know. So the brain, the mind is not just the intellectual mind, you know. The mind is also about the emotional mind. This emotional mind that we have with us, a lot of times when we get upset, you know, and we don't want to talk about emotions, whether it's at the workplace or, you know, at your private space, you know. a lot of times, a lot of us don't want to talk about emotions. I'm not here to make anybody feel weaker. No, talking about emotions make me weak, you know. No, talking about emotions, because we think emotions are dangerous. We have certain myths about emotions. Emotions, if I talk about emotions, I just want harmony in the home. If my son comes back from work or my husband comes back from work and he's angry, and he talks down to me or he takes it out on me, and I just want harmony at home. I don't want to talk about it. But it's not talking about it helping your relationship. So the mind is not just the intellectual mind that we need to take care of. We also have to take care of our emotion, and that is part of our mind. So can you imagine this? Oh, I want harmony in the home. And what is the cost of not talking about it? Well, the cost may be, what happens? You all are very familiar with this. Explosion. Yeah. So the consequence of not having the courage to talk about emotions, this is something that we need to address. We need to break the myth. But emotions are also very important to us. Emotions allow us to know what is important in our lives. It allows us, for example, if we are fearful of our health, we have fear, right? If we have fear, that's a good thing. We'll look after ourselves. We will eat better. So emotions are also very important. So the interplay between emotions, the intellectual mind, and the emotional mind, you can see that they are related. I will talk about it later, about how to regulate this emotion, okay? And with that, we also want to talk about, our five senses. Our body is also through touch, through taste, through sound we hear. The body is not just our organs, but our five senses. How do we use our five senses to maneuver out into the world, Remember we said just now about the happy pill, the happy hormones that we have? Well, it's all interrelated. If we can use our senses to, not just our brain. And a lot of times you see people, they are thinkers, they don't really relate well to people. So we can think about how we can use our senses to relate to people, to have, we talk about the mind, we can feel, and we have a gut instinct. So we can use our senses to relate to people. And for me, right, how I relate to people and how I soothe myself. So sometimes we use our senses as pleasures to make us more happy. We go on a holiday, we go see the scenery, we go and listen to a concert. We use our senses for pleasure, but we also can use our senses to soothe ourselves. So even, and one of the things that we teach the elderly or our clients that we come in contact is how do we heal ourselves when we are uncomfortable? Just putting your hand over the other hand and just being quiet for that moment. You can feel, you can try it. We do not need to go outside to calm down our senses. Just here. And doing this, you can feel. It feels very different if you just believe in your senses. You are born with this, right? And sometimes people come together, and say, we're going to build bonding and we're going to eat, Sometimes when we go for our comfort food, for me as Chinese Hokkien, popiah is something that has a great meaning for us. We come together as a unit. And to me, through the taste, through the sense of taste, we built. When I eat my popiah, I recollect the time that I have spent with my relatives, the camaraderie, the kinship. So it is not the finest ingredients or the most expensive ingredients, but really that feeling of warmth, I transport back into time, and I recall when I was young, I was bathed in the love of my family members. So next time, if you go home to see your ama, akong, and if you buy their favorite food, it's not the most expensive food, but maybe to recall the time that they have spent with their favorite family members. And we can talk about it. And that's how we use the sense of taste to go back in time, to have good recollection. Just remember my popiah story. So you can see through the sense of taste, it triggered a lot of things. All right? Remember my popiah story. And all of us have yearnings, yearnings to be loved, to love myself, to love others, and to allow others to love me. These universal yearnings, regardless of race, gender, age, or religion, everybody have them. Maybe you say, you know what, I don't know what's this yearnings that you talk about, but whether you identify with them or you don't identify with them, they are very powerful motivators. Yes, to be loved, to love, respect. Yeah. So remember my popiah story, okay? Because this is the good story. Later, we're going to tell you the flip side, the anger, right? The resentment that also transport us back in time, right? Yes. So how do we relate when we talk about relating to people also? Okay, so we talk about how we can relate with our emotions to feel and moderate our emotions. Okay, and when we moderate our emotions and not be reactive, people will feel safe to come to us. And this is very important. If we allow our anxiety, our anger to affect us, it will also affect our relationship, right? So we have to think about how we can use not just ourselves, but we can use the nature that comes around us. So when we talk about the mind, the body, and the spirit, and then what is the spirit? The spirit is, well, traditionally, it has been the religions, right? Where people can feel, whether it's a safe space for them to go to. For now, we talk about nature. How can you connect with nature? We don't have all the answers in life. We don't have. And nature, a religion, is a very safe space for us to go and feel grounded. And this is very important. We don't have all the answers in life. And when we have that resources to go to an open space, to feel the warmth of the sun, the wind in our face, and when we feel grounded and collected, we can go out and meet the challenges. Easier said than done, but you might want to try. Think about it. If you are boxed up in that room all the time, I will invite you to go out in the open, look up into the sky, and really feel the sun's ray and really connect with nature. Give it a try, okay? With all this mind, body, and spirit, right? We have seen, and with the new technologies that come aboard, you can use your intellectual mind these are first-hand knowledge, what you have learned in your workplace. But we might need to develop the second-hand knowledge. And second-hand knowledge are from the books of people, or maybe you're attending this course, right? And we have to learn to protect ourselves. You know, as of late, there has been many scammers. I have received many scammers message too. And my friends tell me, it's not possible. You know, you didn't do anything. Nobody's going to transfer a few $1 million to you. Just for a moment, I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's true. Yeah, so how do we open ourselves to new learning? That's the stumbling block, right? Okay. And I will share with you this video that my colleagues in ILC did, and the people that we have supported, and we have seen the transformation in them because they learn to invest in their lives. I would like to show you this video.
Wow, can't keep it up.
I think savings alone is not enough. Teaching our young people how to make their money grow, I think that part seems to be lacking.
I made a very conscious choice to put career on a hold and to look after my family when my children were very young. I should put the priority in a more balanced way, not just like everything to the kids. I need to look after myself.
I think once you're financially independent, it becomes easier to make the decision to do caregiving. I think a lot of times women are just torn because they find that they have to work.
Not many people get to decide. It's often something happens and you're just thrust into the role. So I chose a different career that would give more time for the family, which I feel a bit sad in a way.
If my mother becomes incapacitated, there will be additional medical costs, which I've not planned for. Yeah, I need to earn money to pay for her medical expenses and then still spend time to care for her.
No one can care for someone independently. It taxes someone too much.
When a woman stays at home, it's where she becomes very enclosed and she's not able to grow. Going to work empowers a woman.
To be in full-time caregiving roles, it's not free labor. It's like holding 3 full-time jobs. That kind of stress that a lot of women face is not going to make them plan for the future. It starts as soon as we start working. In Singapore, since we don't have any more pension scheme, and a lot of people, the CPF is not enough. We need to diversify how we are going to plan for their retirement. There's also investments.
Actually, I could retire now, but I can't retire until she dies. She didn't really accumulate much savings.
I think I'm very fortunate having the opportunity of flexi work hours, work from home. The objective is not how long you stay in an office that counts. And I think more companies should adopt that.
Flexible work generally refers to waged work, which is paid by hour. Often you don't get benefits, you don't get, sometimes you don't even get CPF. So I hope that we can actually have a nationwide policy that supports parents in that way. Not just parents, I think even those who are caregivers, who are taking care of their parents. Having that flexibility allows us to enjoy both stability in terms of career and finance. It helps us in future for our own retirement and have time to actually spend with our aged parents, with our children.
The government is not doing enough so that more women can get to, go to work.
I am aiming to be a personal trainer for the elderly. The best way to do so is to be myself, a healthy and strong elderly woman trainer.
I see myself being part of community networks, being part of chosen and biological family networks, being someone who makes a difference in people's lives. I hope more people would be aware and proactively taking care of their health.
I'm not looking forward to having an old and dreadful life. If you don't stop living, you shouldn't become old.
Women in Singapore today have far more opportunities than the mothers before us. When it comes to traditional women's role of caregiving, however, much of that responsibility still seems to fall upon the shoulders of women. Women, however, when it comes to their own caregiving requirements in old age, may be different again. Women live longer, with many more years of diseases and disability. And when it comes to their own care needs, the children and the family may not be there for them because the families are much smaller. In this regard, it is imperative that women take charge of their own future, take care of their health and financial planning. When it comes to their own old age, to have the well-being, independence, and the care that they deserve.
Thank you, Dr. Marianne Tsao. That's the chairman for Tsao Foundation. Very lovely lady. Now, this is the favorite part of this segment. In my journey across the different age range, from babies to old people, I think my oldest client is 100 over. And I cannot begin to share with you the power of breath. I think I went to Harvard 15 years ago to attend a workshop. And besides me were all doctors, doctors. And they were learning about this tool, the power of the breath, which traditionally is used in all traditions, yes. The power of the breath. This breath is a tool. It's a practical skill that you can use to relate to your body when you are nervous or anxious. You'll feel all the signs that the body gives to you. You will feel like maybe I've lost control. I cannot manage all these signals. You cannot stop these sensations. Stop the body from giving you these sensations, right? But you know what? Like a car, right? The example I gave you just now. And you can, increase the accelerator, or you can pull the brakes. And the tool is just that tool, okay? And if some of you are not convinced, I would like to share with you last year. And last year during COVID, we did counseling over the phone. There was this lady in her late 70s. She was due to go for kneecap replacement, 2 knees. And she was in a lot of pain, But because of the high risk involved with COVID, they had to push away her surgery. And over the phone, I guided her in managing and modulating her breath. And something magical came along. She told me that her pain was so great that she had to use her fist and pound her leg, even with the highest painkiller. That's so painful, right? But after the guided meditation, she says, this is amazing. How is it that I feel better now? I didn't give her a massage. I didn't give her ginseng. I didn't give her a pill to pop. But she says, this lady in her 70s that didn't have much education could modulate her own experience. She took charge and she calmed down her senses, right? So I would like to invite you to connect with this breath. And I remember, well, that's like more than 12 years ago, and there was this kid, that I was helping, and he was having panic attacks. And maybe some of you can relate to that. You have anxiety and panic attack. And I was telling him, show me what you were taught and how to relax yourself. And he was holding his palm, and he was taught to do muscle relaxation. But the more he pumped and pumped, and he squeezed his arm, he became more. He hyped himself into a worse state. So maybe that's the same with you. And you could think that, oh, you see, I'm doing deep breathing now. Gladys is telling me to deep breathing. But I'm getting more anxious. First, you need to set the intention right. I am going to help myself. I am going to calm down myself. I'm using this breathing technique to soothe myself. Okay, I can be more grounded, and I can think to do things differently. Okay, so we have the benefits of guided meditation. Well, the first benefit is, if you are hyperventilating, then you can use your breath to slower down your heartbeat. And it has shown that it eases the muscle tension, spasms, aches, and it releases the natural endorphins, natural body painkillers. And regular practice of this, will help you to break the stress, tension, and pain cycle. Okay? And then you'll feel that you're in better control. Okay? So we're going to show you, and my colleague, Chong Yen, one of the counselors, has done this short video, and I would like to invite you to enter that safe space of yours. Okay?
Hi, welcome to the body scan exercise. In this exercise, we'll be bringing awareness to the different parts of our body and experiencing how they feel. I'll be providing simple instructions to guide you as we go along. Before we start, please find a quiet and private space for yourself. You can choose to sit on a chair with your feet flat on the ground, or you can sit on the floor with your legs crossed. When you're ready, try to sit up straight. Tilt your head forward slightly and tuck in your chin just a little. See if you can feel your head and neck in line with your spine. You can rest your hands on your lap and allow your shoulders to hang freely off your body. Let's start by taking 3 slow, deep breaths. And as you breathe out for the 3rd time, gently close your eyes. From now on, breathe only through your nose. Slowly bring your attention to your breath. Be aware of the air flowing through your nose. Feel the sensations. No matter what the sensations are, cold or warm, deep or shallow, you can choose to accept them as they are, not judging, not resisting, not clinging on to them. Maintain this awareness. while you're paying attention to the sensations of your breath, you may also notice some thoughts or emotions related or unrelated to your breath. This is normal. Just gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Now, gently bring your attention to the top of your head. Feel the sensations and any changes from moment to moment. You can choose to accept them as they are.
Thank you, Chong Yen. I think if I'm sitting in Chong Yen's session, I'll be a very happy person too. It's such a deep, calming voice. So basically, you take 3 deep breaths and you breathe out through your nose. And then you experience your body and the contact your body makes with the floor or the chair that you're sitting. And then you relax into that. You can try it. I do this in all my counseling sessions. Taking 3 deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out. As we breathe in and breathe out, and relax into the spaciousness of it. So now, how was it for you? There's a little poll, and I want you to tell me, did you try it, and how was it for you? Wow. I love my audience. You all are perfect audience. Did a good job. Some of you will say, I feel so relaxed and so rested, and this is normal. And some of you say, no difference, which is still normal, because maybe you have been living in your head all the time, or maybe you've been running away from yourself, and maybe you're not used to experiencing this breath and the calming effect it has on you. And some of you think, this is supposed to help me. I feel more thoughts coming in now. I got a headache. Okay? And some of you say, wow, clarity and more alert. But most of you, 80% of you says, feeling more relaxed and rested. Thank you for participating. Lovely audience. Some of you might, when the thoughts come out, right, when you're very quiet, right, does it mean that the quietness trigger the thoughts? No. The quietness allow the thoughts to come out. It's like a river, you know. If the river is muddy, you can't see the bottom of the river. But if the river comes down after a storm, you know, oh, you can see the pebbles and you can see the little fish. And that's what the breath does for us. So I would like to invite you to take these 3 little breaths. Anytime you remember at all, the out breath longer out breath, you don't have to worry. The moment the breath goes out, the body will kick into action and you have to breathe in. And when the breathe in the oxygen, it goes to your head, you feel more clarity. Yeah. And this also teaches us to be more aware of our senses. So when we are more aware of our senses, then we don't have to wait until, when it overwhelms us and then we explode in somebody's face. We can take charge. Face the world calmly, courageously. I would like to share with you this story of one of my clients, this lovely lady, the most petite and neat little lady. She's so well-groomed. But you know what? She was verbally, emotionally, and physically abusing her husband. And it was a secret that she was ashamed of. And through this breathing technique and through counseling, of course, she discovered. Remember I talked to you about the intellectual mind? Well, guess what? This intellectual mind has this thing called perception, values, attitudes, rules that we live by. And sometimes our life journey. And when we practice this and practice it again and again, and she discovered a little bit of some of the rules that she lived by. She was brought up in a very strict family. And it's because she's such a strict person, and that is good, because that has made her to be very successful in life. But because she's so strict, she expects that of her husband. And when we did this again and again, where is this thoughts coming from? Where is this anger coming from? And through calming down, she discovered, I have this rule that people have to do things this way. The rules are good. That's why it made her so successful today. But on the flip side, rules can help us. Our values can help us. But when it has turned a nasty, gone off the tangent, then we have to bring back, we have to calibrate. Because she had a very strict upbringing, this has to be the way. And so she used that on her husband. And in her quietness, one day, she was so excited. She emailed me. She says, Gladys, I discovered something. I've discovered I've become my father and my grandmother. And now I know why I'm so abusive towards my husband. It is the accumulation of all those feelings, all those expectations she has. And her poor husband was the sounding board. And so a little behavior from her husband triggered a whole long list of accumulated perceptions. And she had the aha moment through calming down her mind. It was so lovely. So lovely to see that. And I would like to, I want to share with you this success story, because she went on to do even better and more things. And through the use of the breath, to be more understanding of our senses, to regulate it. Also, this is used also in pain management, which I shared to you, the story of my client, And when I attended Harvard for some very short workshop, the Navy SEALs in America, they actually have a curriculum on this, learning to control their senses, their breath. So, a little bit of motivation for you here. Yeah, and if if you cannot remember whatever I said, remember this. We all want happiness. We expect other people to make us happy. But, I want to tell you, stop waiting. Stop asking for permission. It's not going to happen. You need to know that your life experience might have asked you to wait, to take instructions. And maybe you have had the good luck to have a very good setup where people have been in your life and you just flow along the river of life. But I want you, if you ever forget anything about this talk, remember this: stop waiting and stop asking for permission, you know. And sometimes we have discovered that, you know, you might be thinking, well, Gladys said that I'm going to attend a talk on motivation, coaching. I read the books on how to improve my mind, but, you know, and I modulated my breath, but still, I'm still quarreling with people. I'm still very upset with people. So I want to share with you this phrase called cognitive distortion. Some of us, you know, we think like this. We always say things like, you are always like that. Every time. So we overgeneralize. We have if my husband doesn't do this for me, you know, that's the end of our relationship. It's an all or nothing thing. Or sometimes we even jump into conclusion. Maybe, you know, that person your boss was upset about something, and you thought, see, my boss every time show me black face. Not every time lah. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's maybe his personal life, right? And maybe we magnify things. Yeah, so it might not be true. So think, if you forget, right, and this is such a short talk. We usually do workshops like 4 sessions. I want you to remember cognitive distortion and Google it and see if maybe you do that a little bit sometimes, right? Okay? So now the last C. So we have first the mind, the body, and the spirit. And then I taught you how to pull the brakes or maybe steer a little bit the direction that you want to go. What next? Well, the last part is intimacy. And in our journey, my colleagues and I, and we've seen this a lot, is that, you know, we talk about loneliness. But you know what? Loneliness is, how do we build this relationship with other people when we don't even have a relationship with ourselves? Maybe we think that, you know, that there's some part of you don't like. You don't like to see yourself angry. You don't like to see yourself fearful. So we don't even have a relationship with ourselves. And we are not even intimate with our own ideas. Oh, I don't like it. I'm always quarreling with people. I'm always scolding people. I must be going crazy. So maybe you might have to think, take a break, slow down, see where these ideas are coming from. Have a journal, write it down. Read some self-help books. And if you can calibrate and break this thinking, or maybe improve on them, good. But if not, maybe you can come to us for counseling or maybe coaching. The other part is, how do I build a relationship with others? You know, I saw a lot of programs, you know, you can go attend a lot of talks, join a lot of hobbies. But if you bring all those cognitive distortions, you bring a lot of rules that were holding you back, you know, you are going to bring all this into your new relationship. So you might just have to work on it a little bit. And this is my guru, Virginia Satir. And she says, this is very important. I love this phrase. We connect on the basis of similarities, but we grow on the basis of differences. So when we grow, right, there's going to be some rough edges that we need to smooth out, right? And how to build this intimacy. We can think, if you are a partner or you're a parent and child, adult child, okay? Or you want to build a relationship with your aging parents. How? My father only want to go and lim kopi at the kopitiam. Well, you might think in terms of these 8 intimacies, So we have the emotional where, people like to talk about their emotions, see where they're going, all right? Then we can have the intellectual intimacy where you can share your point of views. Some people attend book clubs, join a cause, and you can exchange your views. It's only when we can exchange our views and not hide, not hide. And you can think more about how can I open up my worldview. When you join a gym, right, a running club, so you usually think intimacy as sex, Yeah, sex is important, but it's only one of them. But we can also build intimacy through our spiritual, connecting with nature, yeah, through social, through recreational, and through the aesthetic. Go and listen to a concert, yeah? And think about it along these 8 lines. You don't have to think like, there's this investment thing, They say, don't put all your eggs in a basket, right? Think about how you can develop these intimacies, yeah, along these 8 lines. So if you are a couple, right, or if you're a family unit, if you're always going physical, like this COVID, all of us can go out, so how? No intimacy, cannot talk? No, we can explore other venues, right? So think along these 8 lines. Yes, and I know that this has been a bit of summarizing. We do this therapy, with our clients. And when we are comfortable with our own thoughts and our own views, and maybe also comfortable with what we don't like about ourselves, and we can share this with those around us. First, you have to accept it first and improve on it. So when we have the courage to think and to say and to feel, then we can be more wholesome. And when we are more wholesome and we can connect with this yearning to be loved and respected and to be accepted and validated, we can start to give it to other people. So I'd like to invite you to come and see us. If just by this talk, not enough, we have a Q&A question. 6 minutes for Q&A. Do you have any questions for me? We have time for one more. We have time for one question. Okay, so it says that when I'm anxious and I try the breathing techniques, but I can't calm down, how can I overcome it? So the breath, right, is very good. But if you are very anxious, I have helped people with anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and the breath might be too difficult. You are not alone. Whoever sent that question, thank you. You represent a lot of people, very normal. Then I will invite you to take a walk with me. And as you walk, short paces, as you walk, right, as you walk in the park, try to feel the wind on your skin, the sun on your face. And when thoughts come out, be aware of these thoughts. Just let it go and set the intentions. I'm here to connect with my spiritual self first, right? So using that, the physical body, to calm down first. And then when it is safe enough for you, then you can go to the chair and try focusing on the breath. And as you walk, you take 3 deep breaths. I only use 3 deep breaths. I've found it to be very effective with all my clients. Very easy homework. 3 deep breaths. Yes. Do we have time for another question? Okay, somebody asked, how do you say goodbye? Yeah, I think during this COVID, right? During this COVID, there has been deaths. I personally have friends, the parents have passed away from COVID. Yeah. So we have in our counseling sessions 3 things. We ask for forgiveness. We guide our clients to ask for forgiveness. To forgive, to ask forgiveness from the person that they want to seek forgiveness from. And to say their wish. What is their wish for that person? My wish for you. My wish for you is to what? And the last one is to say goodbye. 3 lines. Yes. So in Tsao Foundation, longevity is opportunity. And we have seen this with all our clients when we do transformative work. We get the chance to be, when those that are on the process of passing on, the elderly need not to be stimulated or to be given things to them, you know. They're already at the highest level. But if they can die or to grow old and to be the best person that they can be, that is their best motivator to live a better life. And with that, from Tsao Foundation, my team and I, longevity is opportunity. Thank you.